Alright, welcome everybody to the Keys to Wisdom channel. Here you can see I got a real big phrase typed in. That top line is Randy's full name. I put a decode on it, so I didn't ask him if I could throw his stuff out, right? Because I'm not going to put out his name, right? His full name. So Randy as Solar Gang Decoding, as funny as it looks, right? I probably could have come up with something else, but that's Randy's full name, first, middle, last name, right? So Randy's full name and all three date of birth choices using the three calendar systems today. The December 23rd, 1971 Gregorian date of birth choice, or the December 10th, 1971 Julian date of birth choice, or the Tibet 5th, 5732 Hebrew date of birth choice. Now, like I said, this is a different scale of stuff going into 6 digits. I actually thought they'd have to be somewhat bigger than this. This isn't all that big. You can work within the Clues app, right, comfortably at this size, plus more for those digits. So this was the first time I actually picked up his actual 6 digit birthday here in this key, right? 12/23/71. So I could picking up the first choice, the December 23rd, 1971 Gregorian date of birth choice, right? Month, day, year, right in there. So I wanted to put this out even though I've got some other stuff that I want to wind up doing on it. So the next thing I did was I put in, I see I gotta go a little bit slow so this doesn't crash. Because once you get so much data in it, if you go way too fast on typing, you will crash the program. So I see the Gregorian. How about the Julian? Right, because I want to pick up something else, right? I see the Gregorian double about. I'm wondering what's going on. How about the Julian? Now this here is something goofy, right? We got a 12, a 7, a 3 in the 71, right? So I saw this at first and I go, what are you doing? Is this some kind of cross? What's up with this, right? 7 plus 3 is 10 there in the center, and it would go 12, 10, 71, right? Initially, I'm just going to write this off here and not do anything with it, right? I'm not going to do anything with it. I want to produce it straight up, right? Not something like this and say, oh, there's December, and that 7 and 3 is the 10, and then the 71, right? So initially, when I did this, I'm like, all right, I can see something there, but that's like a stretch to me, right? So I'm not gonna even show this when I'm working on it and I find it, right? Next, I put in, because I'm looking for confirmation, right? Like I've been showing in the other videos, the Julian date of birth choice. Next, right? What I'm doing is I'm seeking to jump off of that Gregorian date to a Julian date just by typing something. Well, this time here now it shifts the 12, 23, 71 key into the center. This key here could actually be looked at. The 25,370 is like a 5732, right? At this point here, I'm looking at it, I'm like, all right, cool. Here now I've got the exact birth date, but it's the Gregorian date when I'm asking to jump to the Julian date. So I'm like, what's going on here, right? And mind you, this is my first attempt going after the 6-digit dates, right? 31 days a year. So I put it in here, and I've done a lot of working on it since, right? Because to me, it's telling me, all right, now I'm repeating the Gregorian date. I'm showing a little bit of tie into the Hebrew year, right? To me, it's like telling me there's a way to jump to the Julian date. Well, I've been doing quite a bit of stuff on it, and I've had to give it up for right now because I just haven't been able to make it happen, right? I'm trying to produce 12, 10, 71, 6 digits, right? But it's just not happening. But it reproduced the 12, 23, 71 and shifted it into the final key with that little bit of Hebrew 5732 date, right? 5,732. So as I'm working on this, right, I do all that, oh, I see this and I see that, or I try to describe or talk. I'll even have a conversation, you know, with it. So I put in, you are looking confused to me here, right? Because I'm going after that. I'm doing a request for the Julian date next, but it's reproducing me the Gregorian date with that little bit of Hebrew in there. So then I put this in here and just, you know, I'm like, you are looking confused to me here, right? You're not producing the Julian date I'm requesting as I put in the Julian date of birth choice next, right? You're reproducing me the Gregorian, and you're giving me a little Hebrew year flavor to it. You're looking a little confused to me here. And then that same set of numbers pops up, right? 12, 71, and that 73. So now I mentioned that other one, right? Where I take off the entire bottom two lines here from the Julian date of birth down, and I put back on. I see the Gregorian. How about the Julian, right? That's the same thing that's in there, right? I see the Gregorian. Well, there it was. I warned you about how to operate on it, and I went a little too fast and I crashed the thing. That's one drawback of the Clues app, is when you get the big stuff in, it'll crash you out if you start doing data entry a little bit too fast. So for Randy or anybody else working on big sequences, I'll give you a tip here that I should have used on this one, and I could have threw everything back in and picked right back up. When you put in big amounts of stuff and you know you're getting to the danger point of clues might crash, it's nice to copy and paste stuff so you can easily start back over. I didn't do that, and I didn't go slow enough to finish the video, but you get my point there. So one positive I take out of this is, there we go, we're into those 6 digits. We can make those, right? We secondary keys showed Randy's date of birth, 12/23/71. The finisher key, 12/23/71. We jumped from secondary key to finisher key on the same thing, but didn't make a lot of sense to me, right? But in terms of being able to produce those 31 days a year with all of those 6-digit dates, gives me some hope and that this was some progress. And then also in terms of working Randy stuff, who he sent it over to me, this I feel is a little bit better stuff than what I had worked the first time, right? In that phrase, right? We are changing awareness of God's word for the world. And it showed quite a bit of things in there. But this here is to the actual 6-digit level, right? Of Randy stuff. So on that, I'm going to keep this video short and just say, you know, to keep an eye out for that frequency that ends in 140513, that finisher key, right? Because that your 12-digit birth date works within that key, at least at some times, right? I don't get that far into work all that often to produce these 6-digit keys, and probably not many people do. But if you come across that key there, a final key in the center where the 66 is, keep a close look on it. Obviously, the other finisher key that I showed was with the 131722, right? Well, you're going to see that because that's got your 122371 directly in it. As far as those other ones, the combinations that was tricking me up a little bit, I got to play some more on with these, right? It was this one, right? When I'm asking for that Julian date, it gives me this weird deal. Yes, we can cross summit and produce it, but it's a weird deal. And then the next one, when I'm asking again for the Julian date, and it produces me the Gregorian date again with the Hebrew year in it, right? It's the same thing. Yes, we can cross summit to the 7172. Yes, we can cross summit to the Julian date 12. We got the 12, we got the 71, and then we got the 73 maker of 10. I don't know. I'm going to have to keep an eye out for this. Maybe it is some type of feature that'll be involved in those 6-digit dates. I don't know, right? I hit it 2 different times asking for the Julian date, right? So, well, the one time I was asking for it, and the other time I was telling the word that you're looking confused here because I'm asking for the Julian, you're giving me the Gregorian and Hebrew stuff again. But in any case, this is a little bit of progress into the 6-digit realm, a little bit of progress into using Randy's keys, and a little bit of an example, right? I had to beef everything up to get into the 6-digit realm. So I'd had to use date of birth 3 different times in all of that, right? And use the choice, the date of birth choice, along with the biggest versions of the dates that I could use, right? So I went into the 1971 versus saying 1971, right? When you're just saying 1971 or 5732, you gotta add a ton of stuff to build up to it, right? And that's another reason I suggested to Randy was to use his max resume similar to what Dan was doing. If you know the time of birth where you were born, and you know the place where you were born, things like that, you could beef up your entire resume. And really, you have to beef up the stuff in some way or another to get into these 6-digit realms. But I just wanted to put this out here because it is a little bit of progress, and perhaps it'll give Randy a little bit of idea on how to build his way up into those 6-digit realms and go after those exact dates that are produced in the 6-digit realm. So we showed that we can get there. We can get to the exact day, month, year, 6 digits. We did it a couple different ways here, and we'll have to figure out what the heck is going on with that Gregorian deal here, because yeah, I can see it, but that's not exactly something straight up, right, to show somebody, right? I don't want to get into some weaker stuff to say, oh yeah, that 12 is for December. Yeah, that's 73. You got to cross them to the 10, and then the 71 is for the year, right? And the same thing in the other version over here. But for some reason, I got double indentured and sent to that frequency when I'm looking for the exact date that it would make if we did cross some the 7 and 3 to the 10. So it's interesting, something I'll have to keep an eye on, especially as I get into working other people's 6-digit dates in the future. But anyways, with that, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you think that's something you should do. And have a nice day.